Have you ever had a place in your mind that you just know deep in your soul you have to plant your feet on the ground there? You can almost picture it, but it's so foreign that you can't quite form the image in your head. It's these kind of places that call to me, pull me in like a magnet so that I can engrave the memory of them. And this was one of those places. This is the story till now.
Haida Gwaii is so remote and so just isolated from the rest of British Columbia and the rest of Canada. It feels like it's its own country. It really, and I know I'm not the only one who feels this way, but it's just, you really get this impression that you are going to like a different world being all the way out here. You're so isolated.
So we're driving about 18 hours to get to the ferry to get over to Haida Gwaii. We're doing it over the course of 2 days so that it's not so bad. And then it's an 8-hour ferry to get over to Haida Gwaii. It's a long journey to get there, but we're pretty excited about it. We just rolled into this beautiful beach campsite just outside of Prince Rupert, British Columbia. Tomorrow we're gonna hop on a 10-hour ferry over to the island and start exploring. It's gonna be super cool, so stick around. You're gonna love this, I think. I've got Gretchen with me and her Gladiator, and she's cooking up some dinner for us, I think. What do we got happening here, Gretchen?
Well, perfect timing, just searing a couple of steaks up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Steak life.
Yeah. Steak and potatoes for tonight, you know?
Explore. You can't explore right if you don't eat right. Am I right?
Very important. It's very important.
Very important.
Oh, are you excited?
Big island, need a big map.
Yeah. This is how old people used to look at Google.
Can we make this bigger?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna get in late. We need to find somewhere to camp.
Camp right away. We can go there.
We're still looking for Courtney.
If that's filled up, then we can head up this FSR here, and there's some places we can go and camp in here.
Guys, we have made it onto Haida Gwaii. We've traveled down to the South Island. We took an extra ferry for just like 15 minutes when we got off the big ferry. Now we're heading to a beach area where we're hoping to camp.
We get off the ferry, basically go right back onto another smaller ferry, and we land on Moresby Island. It's a lot more remote. We're driving and we just find just a little cove. We drive down it and it is beautiful.
Yeah, I think this will do.
It'll do. It'll be okay.
It'll be okay for the first night on Haida Gwaii. Nothing but horizon.
So I'm not gonna lie, I've never cooked these before.
You just fry them.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
I mean, they're bacon wrapped scallops. You can't really mess them up.
Yeah.
So we're cooking up some bacon wrapped scallops, you know, roughing it out here on the island.
Oh yeah, it's real.
The smell of bacon in the wind is just fantastic. I like going to places that are harder to get to, take longer to get to, are more remote and where there's going to be less people, but also places that have a rich history and things to discover. And everything I'd heard about Haida Gwaii was that it was all of those things, that I should definitely come here and that I would love it here. And that's why I wanted to come. Morning, guys. It's day 2 on Haida Gwaii. We need some coffee going, get all packed up, and start exploring.
Ready to roll?
Back on the road. So the plan here is to head to this beach that we heard is really nice and just check that out. Then we're gonna head up some forestry roads. There's a few lakes and kind of make our way around the lower southern
and your little
island.
bumper lights.
Head down this really tight downhill tree trail. I guess it's gonna end up at a beach, but we'll see in a sec. It's pretty tight for the Trail B&B. looks to be kind of a bit of an abandoned campsite, but they've blocked off what would be access to the beach. Let's walk down and take a look. Some pretty old picnic tables. Man, what a nice spot too. Does that feel good? Get your paws wet? On the road?
Yeah, there's another road, but I don't know if it's going to lead to anything or it's just going to be a dead end because, you know, it looked pretty old and unused. But you can see
that one up there on the mountain?
Yeah, you can see that there.
Well, old and unused is kind of our jam.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe, who knows, maybe it'll lead to like a nice remote beach or something.
It definitely could, and it's really not that far out of the way. If we need to turn around, it's not that big.
Yeah, let's go explore it.
Okay.
So from here on out, we kind of get a little bit away from the water, and then the road just kind of seems like it pitters out at some point. Do we want to keep exploring? Oh, look at that bridge.
That was cool.
Dude, that was super cool. Wow.
All right, we've just arrived at Mosquito Lake. Ominous name. Not really digging it, but the lake is quite nice. There's a shelter here. We get to Mosquito Lake and it's beautiful, but it's also called Mosquito Lake. There's bugs everywhere. So we pretty quickly decided to just look around and then be on our way to the next place that we're gonna go. Up around these mountains, there's an old abandoned camp of some kind. We're gonna check it out and see what's there.
When people first came over from Alaska and down to then populate the Americas, one of the first places they came to was Haida Gwaii, because a lot of them were traveling down the coast, and this is one of the first places that you get to when you're going from that route. This little island chain has been continuously inhabited by the Haida people for as long as there have been people in the Americas.
Made it to Moresby Camp, which is one of the first settlements of white people on this island, apparently. I just saw a huge fish jump over here. Holy crap, there's a whole bunch of fish jumping. Look at, you see it?
Whoa, yeah.
The fish jumped like 3 times.
There's another one. Wow.
There's fish jumping like crazy out here.
Here? Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. What?
I was thinking that I was gonna go fishing, and then we very quickly realized that the reason that there was so many salmon jumping everywhere is because they were spawning. So no fishing for me at this particular location. You know, it's probably a good thing I didn't try. The southern island isn't that large, so we're pretty quickly making our way around the outside of the island and checking out the various lakes and sites that are here to see.
They close within 1 hour of when you arrive.
back on the bigger island now, and we just stocked up on a few supplies. And we're going to continue on to a beach campsite that is supposed to be high clearance 4x4 access only, which sounds like our kind of good time. So here we go.
Oh, these views are awesome.
Deep hill ahead, 25% grade. This road has the worst potholes.
Yeah, they're brutal. Oh, this is Reynolds Sound.
These people look like they live here. So everyone that we talked to before we came out here was saying you have to go to this place called Reynolds Sound, which is kind of on our way north. We get down there and there was like RVs everywhere and all the campsites were kind of looked like people were living there. It just didn't look like that. Not quite as wild as what we were looking for. We've been on this super bumpy, pothole-filled, rough road through thick forest for about an hour now. Trying to find the trailhead to get down to the beach. Hopefully we're close. The forest is so thick, it looks like nighttime in here. To throw on the KCs. So we got all the way down to the end of the road and it's a dead end, and it turns out it's a hiking trail? What the heck? Now what? No idea why it said 4x4 high clearance required when there's not even a road to drive on, just a road to the hiking trail. So now we're losing light. We've got to turn around and find a spot to camp at.
Haida Gwaii is the kind of place where such a camp spot is probably just around the corner. And it was.
It wasn't what we had in mind exactly, because we're kind of right next to a road, but I don't think anyone will be coming down this road because there's nothing past us. We're kind of at the end and we have a pretty nice view that I can't really complain too much about. So this is going to be us for tonight, and we'll carry on in the morning.
So if this is our bust, then, you know, I could...
It's all right.
Yeah, that's all right. We could use more. Like, if this is
Could be worse.
If this is as bad as our luck gets,
Yeah.
you know, we're doing something right.
When you find one of these spots that anywhere else would just be average, here they tend to be a bit magical.
Just woke up. Beautiful morning out on the beach here. We'll get outside in a second. But right now I'm just waking up in the four-wheel camper, getting ready for another day of adventure. Should be good. We're gonna head up the beach today towards North Beach. So that's gonna be rad. And last night I had a great chat with Braden, the owner of Overland Outfitters. If you want to go and see what it's like inside one of these campers and check it out, they have some in their showroom that you can actually go and check out. It's fantastic out here. No sign of Mickey.
There's signs. There's poops.
There's poops.
Got poops. We got some poops here, some poops here.
Where's he hiding?
I don't know. I don't know. He's not. Use my Kraken air inflation system to blow
Do a
some
little
air
cleaning.
underneath here, and maybe that'll scare him out.
No sign of Mickey, unfortunately, but hopefully he's gone. Although our buns are now also gone. Bummer. Anyway. All right, we've just arrived in Masset, and we're making our way over to the beach access, where we're gonna start making our way north. So, I've been waiting for this.
Okay, so we have everything we need to not have to go back to civilization for like 3 days?
Full tank of gas, full tank of depth, bunch of food. I think so.
Sweet. I have 1 bar of service from Alaska.
Is that the shipwreck?
It sure is.
All right, we've been driving along the beach, and we just came to one of the first shipwrecks that are out here. It's kind of partially buried in the sand. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about this one?
No. I think it's past fixer-upper stage, though.
It's definitely past fixer-upper stage. Guys, this beach just goes on for ever. We're gonna make our way all the way out to the spit out there, where the 2 different tidal currents kind of meet and have created this long stretch of pointy land out at the top of the island. So that's our main goal. We're gonna get all the way out to there, and then we're gonna come around and go all the way down the other side of the island. It's awesome out here.
There aren't many places you can drive on the coast like this. For the rest of the trip, all of our travel will be on sand as we navigate the tides around the island. With the tide on its way in, we took shelter in a campsite in the trees and waited for the morning low tide to head out to the spit at the northern tip of the island.
Ready for one of the wildest drives of your life?
Does it still look solid?
Yeah, it looks good. Look at tides for dodging Gids, but actually the tides for Masset is even later, so we've got, we're doing really good.
Alright, let's do it.
Sounds good.
Well, this is awesome.
If you notice, look over at North Beach, it's crazy. If you look over at East Beach, it looks pretty chill.
We're only a couple of meters above the tide level here, with the waves crashing in from the west, moving in closer by the minute, threatening to swallow the remaining land. Time has to be monitored closely here on the spit.
All right, we've made it out to the spit where the two currents converge. That's the correct, that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's two different currents converging. It is crazy driving out here. It is the weirdest feeling. On this side, crazy wind, waves. On this side, totally calm. This is the mainland would be that way, and then over here is just kind of open ocean, and up here would be Alaska. We're actually getting roaming signal on our phones from Alaska right now, which would be directly north. Yeah?
Yeah, that's Alaska. That's Japan's over this way. That's the next thing you hit.
Look at those waves. Those are big waves.
Yeah, it's pretty windy right now.
Yeah, you want to go surfing?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're gonna hang out here for a bit, and then we got to drive all the way down. How many kilometers is it?
I think it's about 80 kilometers down East Beach.
80 kilometers down the East Beach, which should be a much more pleasant experience for camping tonight, because we're gonna head down that way and find a good spot to camp on the beach.
I think that being out on the Rose Spit, that was one of the most amazing and exhilarating and terrifying experiences of my life. I was terrified that if the truck just randomly broke down or just wouldn't start up, or if we got stuck, we were just on our own. So it was very terrifying, but at the same time, it was so beautiful.
Well, I am pretty excited to get out of the wind. Totally feels way more calm over here, eh?
Absolutely.
So now we have to make it a little bit down the East Beach here before the tide comes back in. Well, the tide's coming in, so we have to just get somewhere where we can wait out the tide a little bit. There's supposed to be a cabin down here. We might aim for that. But what a beautiful drive down the beach. So after we leave the Spit, the wind is so dramatically different on the east side because the wind's coming in from the west, which is open ocean, whereas the east is towards the mainland. So the winds die down and the ocean's just calm, and all of a sudden we can hear the wind isn't in our ears anymore, and it's just this beautiful, desolate beach.
Oh, the cabin is just, like, apparently this big clearing right beside us is a lake, and the cabin is literally on the other side of the lake. Like, it's just up ahead here by the trees.
So there's a cabin down the beach a little bit.
Yeah, it's not very far. It's maybe 2 or 3 kilometers. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, let's go check that out. And then the shipwreck is past that?
The shipwreck is
Like
past that.
way past
yeah,
that,
way
right?
past it. That's basically near the end.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, this cabin will be nice, and we'll be able to kind of hang out there while the high tide comes in. Because,
Yeah.
we don't want to be here for that.
We don't want to be on the beach for the high tide. That's not ideal. This beach is awesome. Like, come on. Come on.
Like, it's like
A beach.
yeah, I mean, like, you would think that there would be, like, some sort of resort here, but it's so remote that, like, it's just us. It's just us.
Yeah, for like probably about 70K. There's no people.
Yeah.
Smells like cabin in here.
Yeah, it smells
Got
like,
that wood.
yeah, it's cedar. I mean, this
Cedar
is
smell.
built with cedar, so you smell
Yeah.
it. This would be a nice place to dry off if you were doing this in the winter.
Yeah, for sure. Can you do this in the winter?
I'm sure you could. There's no snow or anything. It just rains a lot, so.
Past this area on a receding tide. So right now we're here. We gotta go all the way down here. And then this area says cross on a receding tide, so it's super skinny. So we're gonna have to time that so that we can.
Yeah, because there's cliffs, and so when the tide's up, the tide is up against the cliffs. So that's, you can't, it's a no-go area during high tide. So we have to make sure that we're fully through there on the low tide. Otherwise, yeah, bad news.
All right, we got camp all set up on this beach. It is still morning, believe it or not. So I'm gonna make some coffee. So I brought with me on this trip my Jackery Explorer 1000 V2, the new version. I've always liked the Jackery Explorer 1000. It was my favorite power station, and they've improved a bunch of stuff on this one and made it way better. And it's great for making coffee out on the back of the truck, out on the beach, where we are in this beautiful, beautiful place. So the new version has up to 1500 watts of output, which is about a 50% increase over the previous version. You can also charge it to 100% battery in just 1 hour. It comes with a solar panel for fast charging from the sun. And they finally added the folding handle, which is what everyone wanted. I highly suggest you get yourself a Jackery Explorer 1000 V2. I've got a link in the description you can click on, which helps support the channel. Check it out while I drink this coffee. Whew.
It's not warm.
It is not warm, but it is refreshing.
Yeah.
Can't beat the view though. That was cold, backing up. Got so many rocks in my sandals already. You gonna try it out? What do you think?
Come on! Come on!
Oh, what do you think?
No?
No, no.
Too cold, buddy? Steaks.
Would you like some sous vide steaks?
We'll take them.
Yeah, just a nice little reverse sear here.
Need a sand shield.
Yeah. They make it a little crunchy.
Oh, and beans too?
Yeah. Well, you know, you gotta have one vegetable in there.
Oh, looks fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yeah. There you go. To be able to just slow down, relax, and basically just have a vacation day where we're not traveling. There's nothing that we really need to do. We just need to hang out, get maybe a bit too much sun.
Morning, guys. Today we're gonna make a big push down the beach. We've got about 30 kilometers to get to the cliffs where we have to time it with a receding tide so that we don't get stuck with no beach to travel on.
All right, good to go.
Let's roll. I almost said bye to the amazing beach, but I guess we're not leaving the beach anytime soon.
That was freaking cool. Would have been hard to come through here with the tide up.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. You can really obviously see where high tide just came up to here.
It's definitely some of the most fun driving I've ever done.
This is amazing. I'm not having any words to explain it.
So it'd just be the cliffs?
No, we have 30K to go, so I don't think we're quite there yet. We have at least one water crossing that we have to do before we get there.
Guess we gotta find where to cross. Looks like back there a bit.
Yeah, that'd be a spot.
What a crazy place.
Talk about feeling about being on the edge of the world.
So we've probably got, what time is high tide?
High tide is 1:15.
1:15, and now is
5 to 11.
5 to 11.
So.
So we got to start keeping an eye. We got about another hour we can drive down the beach, and then we got to start keeping an eye on the tide so we don't end up washed out to sea.
Yeah, that would, I mean, this has been an amazing trip. That would really put a damper on it.
Yeah, let's not end it by dying. Probably not ideal. The ocean is only a couple of meters down from our trucks. And I'm looking straight ahead. We've got a long way to go before we're in the clear. So we're sitting there thinking about it. And while we're sitting there thinking about it, the tide has come in more. So we quickly realize that we have to backtrack to get out of this danger zone, or the tide's gonna come in and sweep us away. We have actually gone too far. The tide is coming in. There's cliffs on the side. We have to turn around and get out of here pretty quick. So we went a little bit further than we thought we had gone and ended up against some cliffs as the tide was coming in. It came in pretty quick there. Like even when we turned around, we were like right next to the water.
Yeah, it was like, oh, are we in the wrong spot? And then all of a sudden it's like, we need to turn around now.
That's the terrain isn't difficult to travel here, but it's timing the tides when you're traveling along the edge of the water that can be dangerous. So, but all good. We'll wait out the tide and then we'll continue on. I mean, there's worse places to be stranded for a couple hours. Those are some dinosaur footprints, I think. Just kidding. They're probably like a moose. All right, we should be at peak tide here, so the water is going to start receding. We're going to start making our way down the beach towards the cliffs, and we'll probably have to wait for the tide to recede a little bit more. But we should be able to go pretty soon, and then we'll have to start making our way as soon as the tide starts receding so we can get past the cliffs before it comes back in. See here, those are our tracks from where we went too far before. Now we just gotta wait for the tide to come out far enough that we can carry on. Right now it's still crashing up against the edge of the cliff. We've been waiting for a few hours for the tide to go out, and after driving back here to the spot where we stopped originally, we're now waiting for the tide to recede, and we've been sitting here for about 3 hours, just waiting as the tide goes down, you know, foot by foot by foot, until finally we've decided we're just gonna go for it.
All right, see if we can make it.
You got this. That was perfect timing.
All right, you're good to go. Nice job.
Did a little hangout on the rocks there for a moment.
people beaching.
Yeah, it's extremely surreal.
It's like we crashed on a deserted island. So this is the White Cliffs?
Yeah, the White Cliffs here. You know, we're okay now because the tide's going out, but the tide comes right up to the water there, so
Yeah, there's no escape here.
Yeah,
so
right up, so
we got to get past this death zone
yeah.
before the tide comes in. We've arrived at these cliffs that we're calling the death zone because you can see that the ocean, when the tide comes in, goes all the way up to the cliff. And the cliff is eroding from the ocean crashing up against it and washing down trees and land on the side of the slope. Like, it is not somewhere you want to be when the tide comes in. So we have a limited window while the tide's receding to get through the death zone. Cliffs we're driving along are wild. So when the tide comes up, if you get caught here, tide comes up all the way to the cliffs. That's why we're calling this the death zone. We should be coming up on the shipwreck, which is one of our targets.
Yeah.
So we're gonna keep going. What a drive. This has got to be like one of the best drives I've ever done.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, I've done the Dempster, and I mean, that was, I thought,
Super cool, but totally different.
totally different, and this is just like mind-boggling. Like,
Yeah.
Just so,
And there's nobody here.
yeah.
There's nobody here. Don't come here. It sucks.
Yeah.
If you do find yourself with the opportunity to come to Haida Gwaii, I would take that opportunity.
So we're on Cape Ball right now, and this should be the end of the death zone pretty soon here. So that's nice.
Oh, the end of the death zone. That's nice. We did it.
This section of beach, well, not dangerous as long as you time the tides correctly, could be dangerous. It is also the most beautiful section of the beach that we've driven on so far, and I'm loving every second of it. And that's the wind. I'm not crying. It was so beautiful. Should be almost out of the death zone, eh?
Yeah, I think just around this bend here, this is Cape Ball. So once we pass Cape Ball, the death zone should end there.
Sweet. Any day that you pass through a death zone without dying is a win. I'd seen pictures of this shipwreck, but I didn't realize that the scale of it was going to be so big.
This ship, the Pasuta, ran aground here in 1928, where it has remained ever since, crumbling for nearly 100 years as the ocean tries to take it away.
Like more than half the ship is buried in the sand, and the ship is just kind of sticking up out of the beach. And just this piece that's sticking up out of the beach is about 4 times the size of my truck. Wow, look at this. This is massive. Wow. That's so cool. Can't go inside of it.
I've seen it in 100 photographs, but to actually see it with my own eyes, that's just, that was really special. That was a big moment for me.
The scale of this thing is just wild. Anyway, we got to cross one more river. It's supposed to be a little bit large, deep, a little tricky, but we got to do it at extreme low tide, which is soon. So we're either going to cross it tonight or we're going to set up camp, and then we'll cross it in the morning before we head out.
Tomorrow's low tide will be at 7:49, and it will be 1.5 meters lower than this tide.
So our strategy with this river is we're going to wait until the extreme lowest tide and see if we can figure out where it's shallow enough to cross. We were told that you have to wait until the lowest tide and that there's a rock in the river that becomes exposed, and that's kind of an indicator that it's safe to cross. But the low tide right now, and I didn't really know this about tides, I'm not that much of an ocean person. I just learned this on this trip, but every second tide goes out or in further than the previous one, so they alternate, and this is not one of the lower ones. The super low one's going to be at 7:45 a.m. So if we can't figure out where to cross, we may have to wait until morning and just camp here and then cross first thing in the morning. So we'll see in about 45 minutes. In the meantime, Gretchen's making chicken. Chicken. What's your strategy here, Gretchen?
Don't die.
Gretchen is going to walk the river with a stick and see if it's deep enough or shallow enough for us to cross. It's definitely deep enough for us not to cross. We'll see. Okay,
Here
Gretchen, go find us a path.
Wish me luck. It's moving though.
Yeah. Be careful. See, it's getting deep.
It was so hard to walk and not get swept out from under me. Every step I took, I had to like really lean on that stick and really get my balance before I took another step. Yeah, it's fine. Well, you saw it's not that deep. That current is whipping though. I probably would have fallen over a couple times.
It looked about knee deep on you?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say like bottom of the knees.
Okay, let's go stand next to some tires. So it's like half tire.
Oh yeah.
That's no problem.
We're laughing.
All right, here goes nothing.
got my front and rear lockers on. I'm 4 low. I've got all my traction control off. And I just, you know, second gear, low range. And it's going fine for the first part because we know it's quite shallow. But then as I get to the second half of the river, my truck starts to slide off to the side. And I have to correct to get myself back on track.
River crossings, even when shallow, can still be hazardous with a fast-moving current. Something I've found out the hard way in the past. It's always a calculated risk. And in this case, we were pretty confident and were able to cross it safely.
We did it, guys. We made it across. That was our last obstacle. We're gonna set up camp over here because the tide's gonna come back in, and then should be almost home free. How about that crossing?
That was wild. That was so much fun.
It's a good thing you walked it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was swift, but it wasn't too deep. So it was, at the end of the day, it was pretty easy. It was, you know, fairly minor, but it was, at the moment, felt extremely stressful. But I made through it, and I got up and above, and yeah, we made it out safe. We're heading home tomorrow. I am exhausted. We've still got another 2-3 days travel home. I mean, was this worth it? Absolutely. This is one of the best trips I've ever been on in my life.
Exploring this island has been one of the best trips I've ever done. It's some of the most interesting driving I've done, some of the best camping I've ever done. It really does feel like a special place. Hopefully, I'll get to come back and explore some more. Okay, we got off the beach. We're heading out, and we got a tip that we have to stop at this spring called St. Mary's Spring, which supposedly if you drink from the spring, you will always return to Haida Gwaii.
I'm not a superstitious person myself, but I do love participating in tradition. You know, there's something that's just so lovely about that. And hearing that, you know, you drink from the spring and you'll always come back, that just is really charming to me.
Woo! Yeah.
This museum has the biggest saws ever. Hey Gretchen, can you press this lever for me? Thanks. What the fuck? Yo, how big was this wine bottle they were drinking? First aid kit?
Oh yeah. Just slap a safety second sticker on there.
Second aid. Do you get your second aid certificate?
Just like some duct tape and like an attaboy.
Of course, after we drink from it, we see this sign that is kind of faded, but it says drinking water advisory. Well, it's actually been poisoned to keep people from coming back. It's just a way to kill off tourists.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna stay because we have Giardia now.
The smell of bacon in the wind is just fantastic.
The sun was setting and it smelled like bacon.